Greetings. In this video, we are going to look at on how to do Pillaiyar Kuttu as per Hindu scriptures. Every common Hindu is familiar with the upper limb gesture we colloquially refer to as the Pillaiyar Kuttu. You will find devotees performing this in front of Lord Ganapati in temples. So what is the significance of this ritual? Foremostly, are we performing the gesture in accuracy as instructed by our scriptures? Let us see. See, the Pillaiyar Kuttu is well described in the Shaiva Agamas actually. Paramashiva clearly gives the detailed instructions on how to perform this gesture. Let us look therefore at the Shloka of reference from the Shaiva scriptures. We find this Shloka appearing in the upa-agamas. Quoting, Om Yatra Yatra Kriyarambhe Mushtibhyam Murdhideshikaha Vinayakam Namaskritya Kuttanam Panchavarakam Amritam Yat Sushumnayam Saritamiva Sagaram Mooladharastha Vignesham Prapya Karma Shubhavaham Hastau tu Vamasavyav cha Mushti mudram prakalpayet Madhyamangulibhischaiva Mastake sampratadayet Mastakasthamritenaiva Sharirangani sechayet Amrita plavanenaiva Vignaraja priyo bhavet. So the meaning of this elaborate shloka, briefly describe it. Prior to any kriya, before performing any kriya or ritual or any action, we demonstrate the Mushti mudra. See, the Mushti mudra is a mudra where we clench the fist with the proximal interphalangeal joints of the three digits, the index finger, middle finger and the ring finger in flexion. The thumb and little finger are to be placed at a lower plane so as to say than the mentioned digits. In simpler words, we simply clench the fist with the index, middle and ring finger in protrusion, as you can see here illustrated in the image. So the Acharya, the meaning Deshikaha in the shloka, the Acharya is required to use the three protruding fingers of both hands to knock his head. Murdhani, which means the head. This is done as worship to Lord Vinayaka. Vinayakam Namaskritya. So let us look at some details in the shloka itself in a question answer kind of flow. So how many times do we knock our heads? So the shloka has the answer in the verse which comes as Kuttanam Panchavarakam, meaning we knock 5 times. The number 5 can represent the 5 heads and upper limbs of Lord Ganesha. Now we include the trunk as a limb here. And it can be also associated with the 5 elements. And why do we do this? Why do we do this? Pillaiyar Kuttu. Amritam yad sushumnayam. So here we can visualize a pot of amrita, a pot of nectar in our Dvadashanta, at the peak of our Sushumna Nadi. As we knock our head in the prescribed manner, we topple the pot of nectar, so as to say. The Amrita then pours and drenches all our nadis, thus purifying them. This is Nadi Shuddhi. We find the Mooladhara Chakra at the base of the Sushumna Nadi. Now, let us look at the Atharva Veda's revelation on the presiding deity of the Mooladhara Chakra. In the Ganapati Upanishad of the Atharva Veda, we find a verse which goes as Tvam Mooladhara Sthitosi Nityam, which means you eternally reside in the Mooladhara Chakra, O Lord Ganesha. So we know that this deity is the presiding one for the Mooladhara Chakra. In the very Agamic Shloka we saw earlier, we find a verse which comes as Saritamiva Sagaram. The end point of a river is ultimately the ocean. Likewise, the Amrita which flows from the Sushumna ultimately reaches the Mooladhara Chakra, the home of Lord Ganesha. We visualize Lord Ganapati being cooled by a bath by the overflowing Amrita, who then blesses us upon being pleased. And then we find another verse which comes in this shloka. Mooladharastha Viknesham Prapya Karma Shubhavaham, which means Lord Ganapati's blessing does our karma at the beginning of a ritual achieves success. With Lord Ganapati's blessings, our karma at the beginning of a ritual achieves success. Now we may ask as to how to perform this Pillaiyar Kuttu. The very verse in this Shloka answers, Hastautu Vama Savyaucha Mushti Mudram Prakalpayet. We hold both the left and right hands in the Mushti Mudra. The next verse, Madhyamangulibhischaiva Mastake Sampratatayet. We should only use the 3 digits, namely the index, middle and ring finger, to knock the head properly. And the knock must be such that the sound produced is audible. You should be able to hear the sound when you knock the knuckles on the head. When you knock the head, we should avoid hitting the forehead. The point of knock should be behind the ears. So as you can see here, Somashekar Shiva Acharya, the Grand Master of the Shaiva Agamas, demonstrating the accurate way to knock the head with the Mushti Mudra during an Agama class. And the next verse, Shuklam Baradharam iti prarthya, which means we do the prarthana of Shuklam Baradharam in this manner. So as to say, as we perform this Pillaiyar Kuttu, we should recite the Shuklam Baradharam Shloka, which comes as Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikno Pashantaye. The last verse, Sarva Vikna Upashantaye, simply means all obstacles shall be removed. So in a nutshell, the Pillaiyar Kuttu purifies the nadi, conferring nadi shuddhi, cleansing of the nadis, the energy channels. This facilitates the pranayama and nyasa we perform before a ritual, a grand ritual, for example a homa. So this video describes the correct, accurate manner with the pramana, with the reference shloka from the very Shaiva Agamas on how to do the Pillaiyar Kuttu. Hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching. Nityanandam.